Welcome to Tress Talk with Gerdie, your weekly dose of hair, wellness, and faith. As we embark upon a new year, 2022, I wanted to take the first two episodes to focus on wellness. I'm so honored to know and interview my friend Serene Prince. Take a look. Welcome to Tress Talk with Gerdie, your weekly dose of hair, wellness, and faith. As we've embarked on a new year, 2022, I wanted to take the time out to devote the first few episodes of the year on wellness. Something that we hear people say all the time, yet very few people really practice wellness. And by wellness, it's much more than getting your hair, your nails, and or a massage. Wellness has several components: health, family, relationships, mental, spiritual, behavioral components, to name a few. So today, I'm really honored to bring my friend and colleague, Serene Prince, to talk about wellness from her point of departure. Welcome.
Hi,
Serene.
Thank you for having me. Hi.
Thank you so much for being here. And as you know, I totally admire you and your work. I'm grateful to have met you and to be a dance sister at DeVore Dance Center. But more so than that, while that's only one facet or component of your magic, you are really a powerhouse. And I want to open the floor that you can not only introduce yourself, but share with us your point of departure as it pertains to wellness. Welcome.
Thank you again, Gerdie, for having me. Love you. So I am passionate about dancing. That is one of my first loves. But I'm also the founder and CEO of Orchard Blue Counseling Services, based out in New York City. I'm a licensed clinical psychotherapist, or you can say social worker. I'm proud to be a social worker. I'm also a life consultant and a New York City registered marriage officiant. I opened Orchard Blue Counseling Services while working full-time in 2019. It was something that I thought about for a long time, maybe too long, but it was at the right time. And going into COVID, the business it exploded without me doing very little. I guess you can say it's bittersweet. And in particular, African-American and Black persons, Black and Caribbean, Black Africans were tapping into themselves and realizing that emotionally they weren't doing well, right? And so it had exploded and welcomed a space, aside from other clinicians, a space where Black and Brown people could seek a mental health. Let me go back a little bit. So I opened up my practice intentionally to offer a safe space for Black, Indigenous people of color across a spectrum of cultures. We know that it is taboo to talk about mental health, to offer someone, a stranger particularly, about the family secrets, if you will. I'm speaking as a descendant of Black Caribbean. My parents are from Antigua and Barbuda. Mental health in Antigua, which I am here right now, is far more taboo than in the United States, although we are still fighting the fight, I believe, equally in terms of wellness, as Gerdie has shared with you. And mental health, I believe, is a part of that. Mental health can look differently. And so as a therapist, I offer holistic psychotherapy with specialty in children and teens. I worked a long time with children and teens, and that is my love, that's my heart. But I also enjoy working with couples and doing marriage and couple counseling and pre-marriage counseling. But I just wanted to touch on the focus, and that I am intentional in focusing on creating a space for Black and Brown people. So what does that mean? That means I have to remain self-aware about undoing and unlearning ways of engaging with one another, because I too had to do some work myself. I think that's important to share, so that I am continually offering compassionate and safe, and when I say safe, that the person feels safe to share their emotions, feelings, make mistakes in all aspects of engaging with my business. I can go on and on about that. So I think in a nutshell, that is it about me. Why am I here in Antigua and Barbuda? It's just not to go to the beach, which I wish I could do more often. But I've always wanted to come to Antigua and Barbuda to offer support and mental health services. And I just quickly created an 8-week initiative after, unfortunately, there were several suicides that happened very quickly within probably less than 6 months here.
Wow.
And so there isn't a lot of accessible mental health care here.
Yeah.
And with the benefit of telehealth, it allows me to work remotely wherever I am, as long as my clients are where they need to be, which is in New York and New Jersey.
Okay.
And so I said, you know what? I think they would benefit from knowing what mental health looks like if they could afford it. So I'm offering mental health here for 8 weeks on a sliding scale fee, which is equivalent to $11 to $40 US.
Okay.
Which is fairly affordable considering the currency here. And just really offering them a space and being culturally competent and culturally sensitive in my engagement with those here. It may not always look the same, but it is in terms of the services I'm providing to persons in New York, New Jersey, and here. And it was to really connect the dots and strengthen ties between existing clinicians here and the residents here in Antigua and Barbuda.
Awesome. What are you finding to be the main touch points that you're able to bring to light when you're in your sessions, be it in Antigua, Barbuda, and or stateside?
That your thoughts are not crazy.
That's good.
I believe that, and that's really, that's the response that I often get when I'm exploring and talking to them just very casually about what their symptoms are.
Yeah.
And persons will share with me their symptoms, the thoughts that come to them, and that they're scared about it because it's looked upon as crazy talk or crazy thoughts. Yeah. And these are actually natural responses to trauma.
Yep.
And so I like to normalize that, and it is helpful to normalize that, whether working with Black persons, and particularly women and children in the United States and in the Caribbean, and Antigua and Barbuda, to normalize that these responses are very much normal. And so I can use the example of the Caribbeans, Black Caribbeans that in the United States and here. And you may know, Gerdie, that is very common. It's less common now, but it was more common in our generation before, where your parent would go to the United States and try to make a better life, or they would send you to the United States and try to make a better life. And there is this sense of abandonment, emotional abandonment that a lot of our generation experienced. And so it's real, and it should be validated. And so what happens is that it starts to manifest because everyone, right? So everyone in your community, that's happening everywhere, but the bond, the attachment bond, it breaks, right? Not intentional by your parents by any means. They are trying to make a better life for you and their family, but it's very much an experience that many persons feel. And it's something that needs to be normalized, validated, and help persons to heal from. So I just use that as an example.
Yeah. And a key thing that you said is most people are negating the fact that what they're experiencing in their responses is to actual trauma. And sometimes we live our lives that are so traumatic that it becomes normal and we don't even recognize that it's traumatic, and your response is actually should be expected, right? With the trauma you face. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
How do you, in your practice, how do you define wellness?
So wellness is, I believe, in definition, wellness is continuous. Is what you do before and after psychotherapy, or even going to see your doctor. It involves finding the balance, and it's not perfect, but it's intentional care of the self, your loved ones, whether it be family, friends, children, your spouse or partner. I know that we are in this year of self-care a lot, but self-care, I want to share that's not about abandoning your loved ones. It's about finding the balance between taking care of yourself intentionally, because it is a lot of work.
Yep.
Especially as Black women, it's unlearning that it's okay. Sorry to not wash the dishes, maybe. But right. Or maybe delaying doing the laundry if that means taking a 10-minute nap. It's okay, right? And that is not necessarily defines you. Or like I did a post about laziness and taking a nap, and how much it is important to honor your body and what it's telling you.
Yep.
And that, yes, there's certain things, as a business owner, you're working hard, right? So you may miss a meal. It's not perfect, but to stop and say, okay, I need to take care of myself now. And find ways to transition into different roles, new roles in your life, and just really tap in mindfulness. And that really is wellness. And if that involves seeing a psychotherapist, a coach, or a physician, you should, right? Get your annual medical care, is that is always continuous. It never stops.
That's right. And it's ever evolving, right? What self-care and wellness for you today or this month, or this hour may not look the same tomorrow, and that's okay, right?
Right. In my 20s, it was wearing 4-inch heels.
Yeah.
Can't do that right now.
Ma'am. I can tell my 20-year-old self, girl, if you don't go put some flats on while you sashaying up and down the salon, okay? Absolutely. So you have ventured into the world of entrepreneurship, and you showed up real big because you're international now. That's why we're on this Zoom, because you're not in New York. I love it. I salute you and applaud you for all of that. But as you know, and as you're experiencing now, as much as it's a love for you, and you're following your purpose and your passion, it can get downright hard. It can be very discouraging, and you can start doubting and questioning yourself. And oftentimes those of us who know better, we're not doing better, right? So how do you show up for your wellness in this vein of not only venturing into entrepreneurship, but doing it big where you're in New York and you're abroad? Please tell us, feed us.
So it is not perfect, right? There are times where I forget to eat and I have to check in with myself.
Yeah.
I'm okay with saying no respectfully. Sometimes I love to be supportive. It is helpful for me as a business owner to gain exposure and do different things.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have to say no and know that an opportunity will come again if that means that I get rest. That means that I'm able to find balance, because I also have staff and I also have to make myself available to them and ensure that they are upholding the quality of work and the mission of my business.
That's right.
And so all business is not good business. If that means that it's going to deteriorate me as a business owner and and I guess eventually deteriorate or impact my business. Another thing is I have a therapist.
Good.
And I see my therapist at least once a month. I have to balance all of these things. As a psychotherapist. I do experience doubt sometimes. I'm a human being. Transitioning from working from someone from a 9 to 5, I had to unlearn a lot of that 9 to 5 mentality and being an employee and now being an employer. How to be a leader is different from being I was a supervisor, I was a program director. That's very much being a business owner and a leader in terms of honoring and respecting what I want to do as a business. Also make sure that I'm getting my medical care, intentionally making time for my family and friends. I can get really busy in my work because I'm wearing many different hats. And sometimes I have to take a break and say, you know what, let's meet up for lunch or brunch. It may not be as often as I like, but it's also an exchange of energy and it's supportive. And it's a part of my wellness. And ensure that I reach out to others and maintain connections with those that have been supportive of me and continue to be supportive of me. Also to give back. Offering the sliding fee scale here in Antigua and Barbuda and in New York, for me is giving back. And I give back in other ways too. And I just don't talk about it, but that's just me, but I give back in other ways. And not that I'm seeking to get back anything, but I've been blessed. I am blessed. Awesome. I'm not a millionaire, but in the life of COVID, right? I'll just give you an example. Like I'm in Antigua and Barbuda, and my cousin has an apartment here, and I've been blessed to be able to stay here. Some people have to pay an Airbnb and spend an enormous amount of money, right? And so I'm like, oh my God, like I am so blessed. How could I not give back to someone? And it's different than doing psychotherapy, right? And so I can go on and on. But that's
wonderful.
My wellness.
Yeah. And being mindful that you have to adjust. And I think the number one thing that's resonating is that you have to make it happen. You have to make wellness a priority. Because we can get enveloped in good stuff, a lot of good things, right?
I actually put it on my calendar. I save it on my calendar, Serene, schedule, call such and such to go out to brunch. I have to.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I'm going to wrap it up by asking you to please share with us some nuggets that we can take with us on being mindful of how we can make sure that we practice wellness for ourselves.
I would say, and it could be every morning, but every day, embrace your greatness. And I say that, a lot of times we speak about humility, and humility is important, but acknowledging your greatness is not like someone who's being conceited or ungrateful. It is honoring whatever spirituality or faith that you are, right? Or what you do in terms of maintaining your spirituality, that you honor that. You honor what you've been blessed with.
That's right.
And in doing so, it guides you to having this sense of gratitude, one. Two, it also opens up your mind and spirit to other new things about how to carry on this wonderful thing that you have, whatever your gift is. And three, it also allows you to see where you may want to improve, right? Because I'm always learning. Like, it's not like I'm a psychotherapist and I'm never learning anything new. I'm always learning new things. I mean, having students, they teach me things. It's an exchange of information. So I feel that it's really important to embrace that and to embrace positivity and not down talking my Black people, but we can be very negative towards ourselves, very punitive. And it is okay to speak positive towards ourselves. It's okay to expect something positive to happen. It is okay to remove fear and engaging with someone new or engaging in something new and expecting a positive experience, right? So even if you're engaging with someone and it's not necessarily what you expected, what did you gain from that? What did you learn about yourself, or what new knowledge? So when we are approaching something from a positive angle, we're able to take something good from it instead of feeling like something was taken away from us. Because what's given to you, no one can take away.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
And so
yes.
And to be quite honest with you, I didn't come into this business with all this mind. I came in with it, but I had to do a lot of intentional work for myself so that when I'm giving of myself and offering space, that I am removing those negative self-talks or learned behavior that I had, so that I'm really and truly offering space for persons and encouraging them to do the same.
And taking the time to go through your own self-care and wellness allows you to show up from a genuine place, not just talking it, you're walking that walk. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Absolutely.
I will make sure that you're, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I will make sure that your information is loaded with this episode, but if you can just take 2 seconds, look into the camera and say where you can be found.
Sure. So my website is orchardbluecounseling.com. That's where you'll find about the business, the mental health business. You will find me on Instagram at Serene Prince. That's it. You'll find my personal Instagram page there. Also on Facebook, Serene Prince, and Orchard Blue Counseling Services on Facebook. And on Instagram, Orchard Blue _counseling SBCS.
Wonderful.
And I welcome you to go on our website. My clinical interns, they're doing some wonderful blogs that I truly believe will be educational to everyone, whether it's for you or someone else. And I look forward to connecting with all of you via social media. And don't be afraid to message me because I'll respond.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you and I look up to you, and I'm so grateful that you made the decision to show up in the world as God has ordained you to be. You have my complete support, and I know the viewers gained so much from you just now, and I expect that you will see the increase, okay?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Gerdie, and I look up to you as well. Yes, you're inspiring. Thank you.
No problem. So we're over and out from New York and Antigua. And we will see you next time. Thank you for watching Tress Talk with Gerdie, your weekly dose of hair, wellness, and faith. Bye, Serene. Thank you.
Bye.
As you can see, Serene Prince is a powerhouse in what she does. Totally appreciative of the information and insight that she provided us. I hope it helps you in your wellness journey. Please remember to watch Tress Talk with Gerdie Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on the Inspired Living Network. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe on YouTube, Tress Talk with Gerdie. Thank you. See you next week.